again, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. We're going to start in recline, bound angle pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and open the knees, and then lower your back to the floor. And take a moment just to get settled there. You can adjust the feet closer or farther away from your hips if this feels a little too intense or you want more. And then let the arms and the hands relax wherever feels comfortable to you tonight. And once your body feels settled in this shape, then close your eyes. Start with the eyes closed to turn the focus and attention inward. To observe what is present in the body tonight. To acknowledge where our thoughts are, what our mood is like. Take a moment to do a brief body scan, going through your own body from head to toe, and just noticing without judgment what you are carrying physically tonight. How is your body responding to this posture? What are the sensations that you notice? And if you sense any tension or effort in the body that you don't need right now, try to let yourself release that energy so that this pose feels really restorative and passive. And if you're unable to do that, feel free to give yourself a break from the pose. You can always close the knees if you're finding that the hips are tense, and give the body a minute to rest and then return whenever you feel ready. We'll be here another minute or so. During that time, turn your attention now to your breathing. Listen to the sound of your breath. Notice the sensation of the air, the temperature. And gradually start to slow down and deepen your natural breath, letting it evolve into that fuller, more energized breath that you'll use to help coordinate your posture practice tonight. And when you're ready to release the pose, take a long exhalation and close the knees. Separate the feet a few inches apart and just pause here to let the muscles in the legs relax. Notice how you feel right now. And then you can float the eyes open if they were still closed. And we're going to go through a little hip warm up. You're going to slide your left leg down on the mat and bring your right knee to your chest and just gently hug it here. And every time you exhale, feel that leg draw toward the body. You're going to keep the leg here, but let go of the arms and start to take some wide circles with your thigh, finding your whole range of motion here. Nice fluid speed, not too fast or too slow. And change the direction, going the other way around. Just see if that feels significantly different to you or if it's pretty fluid to make that shift. And the next time the leg crosses over, use your hand to help continue down into a reclined twist. So crossing the right leg now over the body toward the floor. Let the exhalation part of the breath help deepen the twisting in the lower back. And then on an inhalation, gently unwind and plant both feet on the floor again. Adjust your hips if you need to so they feel centered, and take a moment to pause. And then you can slide your right leg down on the mat. Bring your left knee into your chest and hug the leg here for a few breaths. Keeping that deeper, slower breath. And then keep the leg here, but let go of it and start to take those wide circles, rotating the thigh bone in the hip socket, finding your whole range of motion. And then switch the direction. And the next time that your knee moves to go across the body, use your right hand to help bring it over and down into a reclined spinal twist. Nice, low, deep breath here. And when you're ready to come out, unwind. Again, bend both of your knees, planting your feet on the floor, and just adjust your hips if you need to so that your spine can settle, noticing how your low back feels. From here, we're going to come to reclined pigeon pose. Cross your right ankle to the center of your left thigh muscle. Just gently press that right knee forward. You can stay here if this is enough, or bring the legs in toward you. Reach through that space and hold the back of the left hamstrings. If you're doing that, it might feel good to rock a little bit from side to side. And if you're holding the left leg, gently let go of it and uncross the right ankle. Let's switch sides, bringing your left ankle to your right thigh, gently pressing that knee forward. And if you're taking the variation, bring the legs in toward you, reach through the space and hold the back of the right hamstrings, gently rocking from side to side. Just noticing how that outer hip is feeling. And if you're holding the right leg, exhale and gently release, uncrossing the left foot. Good, we're going to take one more hip posture from here. You're going to cross the right thigh tightly over the left thigh, like you would if you were sometimes sitting in a seat. Really squeeze the legs together, and then bring the legs in toward your upper body and hug them close to you. So there's a couple different ways you can do this pose. If it's already feeling pretty intense in your right hip or outer thigh, just hold the knee that's farthest away from you, so that would be your left knee. If you want a little bit more, lift your upper body and reach forward and take your feet into your hands. So I've got my left foot in my right hand and my right foot in my left hand. If you still got that, try and lie back down as you gently bring the feet toward your face. So it's gonna bring the feet more out to the side. They're gonna be farther apart from each other. So you may be recognizing this pose. It's the same exact shape as a seated posture, kind of a challenging seated posture called cow facing pose or Gormukhasana. It can be difficult to cross these legs this tightly when you're sitting upright. It's much easier to do this when you're lying down on the back. Let's take one more breath in, and then let go of the feet. Exhale, uncross your thighs and plant your feet on the ground. Before we take the other side, let's just roll up and down through a low bridge to help stretch the hip flexors. On an exhalation, roll your hips and spine up just enough to feel a good lengthening on the front of the hip joints. And then inhale, roll down. Take that a few times. Exhale and lift the hips, lengthening your hip flexors. Inhale, roll down. Last one. And once the hips touch down, we'll take that pose for the other side. You're going to cross the left thigh tightly over the right, really squeezing the legs as close together as you can. Then bring the knees in toward your upper body. You can at first start just by holding the knee that's farthest away from you. And if this feels like an intense stretch in your left hip and glute, then just stay here. If you want a little more, lift your head and back, reach forward with your palms, and take your heels into your hands. Lie back down and gently pull the heels closer to your upper body as you bring your head and shoulders to the mat. Kind of trying to bring the heels into the same plane. Few more breaths. Good, let's exhale, lower the feet, let go of them, uncross the legs and plant the feet down. And then again, exhale and roll the hips up into a bridge. This time we're gonna stay here in just a low bridge pose. So it's not really emphasizing the back bending part of this posture, more just the lengthening of the hip flexors here. Your arms can be really anywhere you like right now since the shoulders are in a relaxed position. We didn't tuck them together. One more breath in, and then exhale, lower your hips and your spine. Good, from here, find a strap or a belt, and we're gonna take a little hamstring sequence. Slide your your left leg down on the mat and bring your right knee to your chest. Lift up and place the strap around the foot. Once you have it there, lie back down and straighten that leg. Adjust your strap so that you can get some good length. Hold the strap with a tight grip and straight arms, and settle into your breath. When you're ready for the second version of this pose, hold the strap in the right hand only, and then slowly open the right leg out to the side, finding your whole range of motion here as you open the hip. Keep your left leg grounded to the mat. Use your core strength to keep your hip and your back connected to the floor. Breathing into that deep stretch. And use your exhalation to bring the leg back up to the center. Change hands and then cross the leg over your hips toward the other side of your mat, any amount while keeping the leg straight. Nice and easy here. I'm just noticing how the sensation of the pose changes here. And then inhale, lift the leg back up. Exhale, bend the knee and remove your strap, releasing that leg down to the ground. Good. Adjust your hips if you need to. Let that leg settle. And then bring the left knee to the chest, setting for the other side. Strap around the foot, lie down once you have it, and fully extend the leg. Finding that strong grip on the strap. Notice how this side feels. Where's the sensation of the pose? What is your comfort level with that? And for our second variation, strap is going to go in the left hand only. Keep that grip super tight as you open the leg out to the side, finding your whole range of motion and eventually holding there, energizing the core to help stabilize the right side of your body. And use a strong exhalation to bring the leg back up. Change hands and cross the leg over to the other side of your mat, any amount while keeping the leg straight. And then lift the leg back up to the center. Bend the knee down toward you. Remove the foot from the strap and set that strap down and release the leg. Shake out the legs a little bit on the ground, wiggling the knees and the ankles, just letting go of some of that intensity. And then we're going to take a few rocks on the spine to come upright. So bring your knees to your chest, tuck your chin, and start to build some momentum as you rock up and down your spine, maybe 3 or 4 times total. And on your last one, give enough momentum to come all the way up. Once you're up, come forward into table pose on the hands and knees. We'll take a few rounds of spinal waves. On an inhalation, lift your tailbone, chest, and chin. Exhale to tuck the tail and the chin as you round your back. And again, reverse. Inhale and exhale. Just moving at your own pace with your breath. Feel free to add other directions of movement here, getting into the side ribs and the waist. And then come back to a neutral table pose. Let's extend the arms forward and press the chest and armpits toward the floor for half down dog. Strong and active through the arms and press evenly through your palms as if you were in the full posture. Every time you exhale, drawing the spine deeper into your back. And on an inhalation, lift back up to table pose and lunge your right foot forward. Slide your left knee back, low lunge. Just take a moment to settle down here into the hips. Should already feel a bit warmed up from the sequence we did down on the back. So find that depth here in the pelvis. Draw it down toward your mat. And then on an inhalation, rise up, lifting the arms over the shoulders and lengthening your spine. Low crescent lunge. One more breath in. Exhale the left hand down to twist, rotating from the waist, pressing strongly down against your mat or block, and feeling the rib cage and the chest rotate. One more inhalation. Exhale the right hand to the floor. Rock your hips back and straighten the right leg for half split. You can walk your hands or blocks back if you're using them as well. Lift the toes of the right foot so it's just the heel pressing against the ground, finding length in the hamstrings again. One more breath in. Exhale and return to your lunge. Lift your back knee off of the ground so you're in a high lunge. Plant your palms and step to downward facing dog. Separate the feet a few inches apart. Let your head and neck release. And in this first one, pedal the legs a few times back and forth, bending one knee while you reach the opposite heel down. Just stretching down the calves. And then eventually settle into stillness here. Feel that strong contact of your palms pressing down, every knuckle grounding to the mat. One more breath in. Exhale, bring the knees down. Good, let's lunge the left foot forward. Low lunge. Slide your right knee back. Take a moment to settle into the pose, feeling the pelvis draw down toward your mat. On an inhalation, reach the arms forward and up, lifting to low crescent lunge. Let your sternum and rib cage lift up. Nice low, deep breath. And on an exhalation, the right hand's going to come down and twist. Press strongly through that palm. Keep the shoulder engaged as you rotate. And exhale the left hand down. Rock your hips back in space and try to straighten your left leg for a half split, lifting the toes. Strong energy through the heel. One more breath in. Exhale, come forward to the lunge again. Lift your back knee off the mat, high lunge. Plant your palms and step from here to downward facing dog. Adjust your feet if you need to. Spread the fingers widely and press back. Three more breaths. Last inhalation, look forward, and exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up to stand, reaching over your head. Exhale, arms to your sides. And we're going to take a few rounds of some slow sun salutations. Make sure you're at the front of the mat. On an inhalation, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive forward to your fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step to plank pose. Take one breath in. Exhale, lower your body to the ground. Point the toes. Inhale, arch back to cobra pose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push up to your knees. Exhale, rock back and then lift up, finding downward facing dog. Stay here and breathe. On an inhalation, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Second time through. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step to plank. One breath here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, arch to cobra. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push up. Exhale, back to down dog. Try and let your gaze settle on one point. Keeping that strong concentration. On an inhalation, shift your gaze forward, and then exhale, step your feet there. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, release. One final round. On an inhalation, reach up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step to plank. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, arch to cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, back to down dog. Try and keep your breath slow. One more breath in, look forward. Exhale, feet to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. We're going to take a wide-legged forward bend with the shoulder opening. So if you use a strap to connect your hands behind the back, you can take that. Separate your feet about as wide apart as a warrior two pose and turn your heels out and your big toes in a little bit. Interlace the hands behind your back or connect them with your strap and roll the shoulders back. Open your chest. Gently straighten your arms behind you. Good. When you're ready, fold forward. The hips go back, upper body comes forward and then down, dropping the head. And let the arms just gradually lift up. Don't force that action in the shoulders. So this is an inversion. You're probably noticing that by increased pressure in the head. If that is uncomfortable for you at any point, you can come out of the pose or come halfway out by taking the flat back position. Try and keep your neck loose and your breath regular and deep. We're going to release the shoulders first. Let the arms slowly come down and take the hands to the floor or to blocks in between your feet. Then we're going to slowly lift the head and chest, walk your hands forward to support you in a flat back position. Just letting some of that blood pressure drop from the head and equalize a little bit. Taking a few breaths here in the flat back. And then look over at the front of your mat, whichever foot that is. For me, it's my left foot. Turn that foot forward, walk your hands over there, and end up in a lunge, a high lunge. So front knee bent, back leg is lifted. From here, we're going to rise up into a high crescent lunge. Inhale, reach the arms forward, lengthening up through the spine. Keep lifting that back knee nice and high. One more breath in. Exhale, release the hands to the floor. From here, step back to downward facing dog. Let your head and neck drop down. And we'll take that other side directly from here. So for me, that means stepping my right foot up in between the hands. You do whichever side you didn't do. Finding that high lunge stance. And then when you're ready, inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Keeping that deep bend in your front knee, but lifting your back knee nice and high. Last breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Take just 3 breaths here, pressing firmly through your hands. And then gently lower your knees and take child's pose. Point your toes and sit back on your heels. Feel your shoulders and your upper body melt. Close the eyes here for a few deep breaths. When you're ready to return to down dog, lift your head, plant your palms, tuck your toes, and come back and up. And then look forward, inhale. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale to the flat back position. Exhale to fold forward. Let's stay here in our forward bend. Hold on to the elbows and just gently sway your torso side to side like a pendulum, releasing the low back, letting the neck be loose. And then let go of the elbows and stop that swaying. Bend the knees like you're about to sit to chair pose and slowly roll up through ragdoll, one vertebra at a time. When you're upright, roll the shoulders a few times, and then let them slide down the back and just stand tall in mountain pose. You can have your eyes open or closed. Focus on the contact of your feet against the mat and press evenly through the right and left side. Let there be some toning in the muscles of the legs, so it's an active standing posture. And imagine yourself getting taller with each breath in. Letting the arms reach down with each breath out. And then let that energy relax We'll take a few standing balancing postures. So if you'd like to come off of your mat toward a wall for an assist or a piece of furniture to help, feel free to do that. We're going to start with tree pose, standing on the left foot. So just make sure that heel is in line underneath your hip. Bring your right knee up toward your chest, and then open that knee out to the side, as wide as you can. And then the foot is either going to go below the knee or reach down with the hand to take the ankle and bring it to the thigh. Once the foot is in place, you can take your arm position. The hands can come together or they can reach up, whichever you prefer. I always like hands together when I'm feeling like a little more of a mild practice. Reaching up is a little more intense for the shoulders and the upper back. Good. Listen to the sound and the sensation of your breath. Feel the muscles in your standing leg contract against the pressure of your foot. Beautiful. Exhale and release tree pose. Good. Bend the knees a little bit. Let go of some of that energy from the leg. And then other side. Right heel aligned under the hip. Bring the left knee up toward you nice and high. Open the knee out to the side nice and wide. And then the foot comes either below or reach down for the ankle to help bring it above your standing knee. Right, but the turn out is more important than how high you can get the foot. So we want to keep that knee open to the side. Good, smooth, slow breath. When you're ready to release, let it go. Good. Bend the knees a little bit, rock the hips a bit side to side. Nice work. All right, I'm going to turn to the side for this one. We're going to come into a modified version of dancer pose. We've done a lot of intensity for the hip flexors. Now I want to stretch them out. So we're going to stand on the left leg again. You're going to bend your right knee so the foot goes behind you and reach for the top of the foot or the ankle. And then you want to bring the right thigh as close to the left thigh as you can. Just stand up tall. And then see if you can feel yourself tuck your tailbone down. And that's going to kind of bring the knee forward in space a little bit. You should feel more stretch in front of the thigh and the hip flexor when you tuck your tailbone. But if you're still with me, raise your left arm up. And then we're just going to pivot on the left hip. So leaning forward with the upper body, gradually going back with the right leg. I'm not doing any element of back bending tonight. I'm trying to keep the energy on the lower side, winding down in the evening. So just focusing on the quad stretch here. Good. Lift upright. Release the arm and release the foot. Good. Other side. Standing on the right foot. Make sure it's in line under the hip. Bend your left knee so the foot comes behind you and reach for the top of the foot or the ankle. And then bring the thighs close together. Have a feeling of now tucking your tailbone toward the floor so there's less arch in your low back. And then raise your right arm. Nice and slowly here, we're just rotating on the axis of the hip. So I'm leaning my upper body forward, and that causes my left knee to go up behind me. I'm not doing anything with my spine. I'm not arching it or doing a back bend. Just rotating on the hip. Great, great quad stretch here. Let's take a few more breaths if you can. And then slowly come up. Release the arm, and release the foot. Good, bend the knees a little bit, rock the hips to help release some of that intensity. Good, and then come back toward the front of your mat if you are not quite there. We're going to start to take things toward the ground again. On an inhalation, reach the arms up. Exhale and dive forward. Just stay here in a forward bend for a moment. Really let go through your neck. Make sure that the head feels nice and heavy. And then bend your knees enough for your hands to plant on the ground. Step back to downward facing dog. Let your neck release. Find that strong energy through the arms and the shoulders. And then again on an exhalation, bring the knees to the floor and take child's pose a second time. Settling down toward the heels. Let your arms and your shoulders relax. And close the eyes for a few breaths. Notice how your body is feeling right now. And from here, lift yourself back to table pose. Or do a little shoulder work here, starting with threading the needle. Raise your right arm up to the side and open the chest. And then exhale, sweep it underneath you, bringing the shoulder and the side of the head down. Push your left hand against the ground and lean back more onto the right shoulder. Use that action to help twist, but also spread the shoulder blade away from your spine. Really stretching all of those muscles that connect there. Breathing deeply. And some optional variations. You can raise the left arm up if you like and let it fall back. You can wrap it around your low back, taking a half bind. Or you can keep that hand on the ground. If you're in the half bind, let's release the hand and reach it up again. And then take the left hand back to the mat if you're there. Press the floor and we'll all come up off of the shoulder and reach that arm up again. Counter and twist, and then back to table. Other side, raise your left arm and open the chest. Then exhale, sweep the shoulder underneath you, putting the side of your head down. Push your right hand against the ground and lean back, creating that deeper twist. Breathing into that sensation in the side ribs. And then optional arm variations, raise the right arm up, let it fall back, or rotate it and wrap it around your back for the half bind. If you're in that half bind, let's release the hand and reach it up again, and then take the hand back to the ground. Press the floor, come off of the shoulder and reach up to the left again. And then release. Good, let's sit on the heels for a moment. If this is not a comfortable way for you to sit, then you can take a cross-legged seat. So find a tall posture in your spine and just let the arms hang down for a moment. And then take a few rolls to the shoulders. And then the other direction. Good, and I'm actually going to face forward for this so you can have a better view. So we're going to take the arm position of standing pose called eagle posture. You may end up using a strap if you have difficulty connecting your hands. So you can have one nearby if you think you'll need it. Let's open the arms out to the side, shoulder height. Cross your left elbow over your right elbow to make an X. And then bend the elbows and bring the forearms and the back of the hands toward each other and see if you can connect them. If you can't, you're going to hold a strap in one hand and just grab that strap in your fists. So wherever you are, hands connected or using a strap, bring your elbows down toward your chest. Press the forearms against each other and try to spread your shoulder blades farther apart. So enhancing the stretch of the lats and the rhomboids and the lower trapezius muscles. And in that action of spreading the shoulder blades apart, try not to collapse much in your chest. It's going to feel like a slightly more rounded back, but stay really upright. And keep a full deep breath. Good, let's slowly undo the arms. Let the arms just hang down. Maybe take a few rolls to the shoulders. If you're no longer comfortable sitting on your heels, feel free to switch the way you're sitting, all right? Let's take the other side when you're ready. Open the arms. This time the right elbow is going over the left. Make an X. Bend the elbows and bring the forearms toward each other and hook the hands or use a strap to connect. Start to bring your elbows down toward your chest and then really press that forearm contact, press into that strongly to try and spread your shoulder blades farther apart. Don't let that collapse your sternum, so you're still really upright. It's a compression of the chest, definitely, but we don't want to drop the sternum here. So then that'll make it feel more difficult to breathe. Good, everybody, let's slowly undo the arms. Let them just hang down again. Take a few rolls to the shoulders in both directions. Good, all right, we're gonna counter that with a little bit of chest opening. I'm gonna have you sit directly on the floor. I'm gonna do this from the side. Extend your legs and feet in front of you and lean your hands back behind you, maybe at least a foot. Point your toes to stretch the front of the ankles. Squeeze your shoulder blades now as closely together as you can. Press against the heels of the hands and arch your upper back, lifting your rib cage and your chest toward the ceiling. So hips are still sitting on the floor. We're just arching as much as possible here. Now expanding the area that was just contracted in that previous pose. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Let the ribcage come down. Good, let's bring the soles of the feet together and bend the knees out to the side. We're going to finish up with seated bound angle and then a reclined pose. If you'd like to elevate your hips, feel free to sit up on something here. Let's take a nice deep breath in and get tall through the spine. And then tuck your chin, exhale, and guide the upper body forward and down. Just little by little. And when you're ready to come out, inhale and roll up. Exhale the knees together. Slide your hips forward a little bit and then roll to your back. So we did the eagle arm position. We're going to finish up with the eagle leg position in a reclined twist. So bend your knees, Cross your right thigh tightly over your left thigh again, like we did at the beginning. And now slide your hips to the right side of your mat a few inches. And then drop your knees over to the left side of your mat. And the cross of that leg should help get more of a twist in the low back. You might be able to hook the bottom foot behind the ankle. So that's the right foot behind the left ankle. If that doesn't feel good for your knee, then don't worry about hooking the foot. The crossed legs is plenty to add to the twist. So give your body a few breaths to just kind of settle and release into the pose. But if this is too deep in your back or you're not feeling great in the knees, then just take the regular reclined twist. If you have the toe hook, undo that before you come out of the pose. It'll just relieve some intensity from the knee when you're moving. And then gently roll to your back, uncross the right thigh, and slide your hips so that they're centered below your shoulders. And just pause there for a moment and let your back relax. When you're ready for the other side, cross your left thigh tightly over your right. Scoot your hips over to the left side of your mat a few inches, and then drop the knees over to the right. If that hook of the foot is possible, left toes hook behind the right ankle, feel free to try that, or just ignore that part of the pose, focusing mainly on just relaxing the body into this twisting shape. Where can you give in a little more and let go of any unnecessary effort? If your toes are hooked behind the ankle, just undo that part of the pose first, and then slowly roll your hips, lifting the knees, coming to your back, uncross your thigh, and adjust your hips so they're centered below your shoulders. Pause for a moment to let your back relax. And then just gently hug your knees to your chest. Wrap your arms around the legs, just giving yourself a little hug, and rock side to side, massaging the low back. And then get comfortable for Shavasana, final relaxation. So take your time, getting the body nice and comfortable. You can use props or lie flat on the ground, whatever is your preference. And once you feel settled, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your lower jaw and your tongue release. Feel your throat relax as your natural breath returns to your body. Letting go of that concentration and focus. Allow your body to melt into the ground, releasing any lingering active energy. And enjoy these few minutes of rest. your attention back into your body. And start to move a little bit through the fingers and the toes, gently waking